Hey, welcome to Integrative Preparedness. I'm Steve Smith, and how are you all today? That's not me right there. That's a flower pot. I'm going to show you a couple of emergency heating things here. I've had some people ask me about the flower pot. Excuse me for I get this adjusted there. Had a couple of people say they're interested in the flower pot heater because I've mentioned that. Looks like you might be crooked there. My fault, sorry. Let's see. I'll get you straightened out there. Okay. So, that's still crooked. Who cares, right? So I've mentioned it on a couple of my recent videos that I'm in here. It's cold up here, 6 below, and this house is difficult to heat for a number of reasons. And so there's some cold spots, and my office is one of them. And so I put in this flower pot heater, and it is warming it right up. I'll show you a little bit. You've probably, if you've watched and I'm going to show you this one, and then I'm going to show you another one. If you've watched videos in the past about flower pot heaters, you've probably seen a couple things. First off, you'll hear people say they don't work. Well, they work, and they work very well. So if you're in the need for some emergency, and I've even suggest people carry several in a car because you can do it safely in a car if you keep your eye on it. But they do work. They work very well. You've probably also seen some fairly complex arrangements. You've seen them put several on top of each other and maybe put a bolt down through the top and all sorts of things. And I've tried all of those different ways just to kind of compare. I've experimented and see what works best. And I'll tell you what, this works probably better than any of the others. Just a single flower pot with a heat source under it. Now in this case it's going to be candles. I'll show you kind of I'll explain it to you. I've had this only going for about an hour. You can barely touch that. It's so hot. And out of the hole up top, you can't see that. I should do a better job of this. Out of the hole, hot air is just spilling out of there. So it's both radiant and then kind of a forced air. I have tried putting several on top of each other. Even though that increases the surface area, giving off radiant heat, I haven't found that to be superior to just a single pot, and because as you stack smaller and smaller ones on top, the holes get smaller through which the air passing in gets smaller. Now you might think that makes the air shoot out faster. It doesn't. It doesn't, surprisingly. Now this, I'll show you what I have under there. Even though you wouldn't want to leave your hand on it very long. Here, you can touch it, but you don't want to leave your hand on it. It's not hot down here. You can pick it up. And that's what I have under there heating that. It's just a 3-wick candle I got at Walmart for, a couple of bucks. And it doesn't take but about 15 minutes for that thing to make this thing very hot and start giving you good heat. Now this is a great situation if your power's out, or if you're in a place you don't want to give power. I'll tell you something that you can crank out even better is if you have electricity, put a heat lamp under there, and that thing will be so hot you can't even touch it like that. And you can get heat lamps. Some of you may have seen the video in which I explained how I heated my gym, my 2-story gym, with beer bottles and heat lamps. But if you put a heat lamp under there, and you can get them for 125 watt ones, that sucker will put out some heat. Now I'm going to take you into a portion of the kitchen and show you something else that I'm doing. Okay, here's another no electricity option if you got a really cold situation going on. Another area that's hard to heat in our house is is the sitting area of the kitchen. This is off the, I won't show you around. I'm not going to turn you around. Our house is like a pre-Christmas wreck, a pre-Christmas tornado went through it. But we have, if you see the windows behind, we've still got those old single pane, and every year I mean to replace the windows, and I just never get around to it. So it's single paned windows, no storms or anything like that. I know I should have better insulation, I just haven't gotten around to it yet. But this heats it up very nicely, and all that is a pot that I put some water in. I didn't put very much in it because I want it to be able to heat up fairly quickly. And then I just set them up on glasses. Sometimes I'll bring bricks in, but all you see I put 4 votive candles under there, and we have a million of them down in the basement. But you can pick up candles anywhere. You can pick them up at Dollar Tree and Walmart and thrift shops, and people throwing out their old candles. Kelly used to be a wedding coordinator and do a bunch of flowers and things like that, and so of course a lot of them would want these little candles on their tables, and at the end they didn't want them, she'd pick them up. We've got boxes of these things down. Yes, I know, that's just another one of the many things that Kelly has done. We've done so many things through the years to make a living. It's just been a lot of fun. Do you see the steam rising from there? Can you see that? Okay. See those 4 little candles is heating that water up. Now it's not going to boil, but it is hot. And this thing is giving off excellent radiant heat, and it's giving off heat in the form of steam. One of the important things that does is it returns humidity into your environment. And one of the problems during the wintertime is that we lack humidity, especially if you have forced air heat. Now, one of the things that I love about radiant heat is that, and I used to have an old house with radiators, and boy, there is no better heat than radiators. If some of you have had those, you know what I'm talking about. It's a lot better than forced air. And so if I could retrofit, maybe someday I will, who knows, if I could retrofit my whole house to be radiant heat or something like this, I sure would. I kind of talked about it in one of my books, I forget which one, but how to heat without electricity. And this is, do you see that steam coming off of there? That is warming this whole area. There's ice on the windows, but it's warm in here. So anyway, guys, that's just a couple of ideas that you can do if it's cold and your electricity has gone out, or even if you just want to do it for for grins. Go ahead and experiment it yourself. And I don't have to tell you all to be careful of open flames and everything like that. That's another reason that I'm just putting this on well, I don't know, maybe I'll put it over on YouTube. But the problem is when I put things on YouTube, I just get too many stupid comments. so I'll probably just stick this with our good group on Patreon. Anyway, there you have it. You all have a good day. And remember that we prepare well today in order to live well tomorrow. And I'm a big believer in having a lot of candles on hand because they have a lot of uses. Light and heat. Okay, you all have a great day. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.